Welcome to Voices of Ovation, a podcast that celebrates the people behind independent healthcare. I'm David Winchester, your host. Each episode, we sit down with employees and leaders from our partner hospitals to share their personal and professional journeys, the challenges they face, the milestones they've reached, and the passion that drives them to make a difference in their communities. These are real stories from the front lines of healthcare, offering connection, inspiration, and a reminder of why our work matters. This is Voices of Ovation.
Hi, everyone. We are thrilled you're here to join us. I'm today's host, David Winchester, Program Manager from Ovation Learning Institute. In today's episode, we'll be speaking with Ovation Healthcare's Vice President of Marketing and Board Chair of OvationCares, Kendall Gimmel. Kendall has more than 15 years of marketing experience and nearly a decade within healthcare sector. She leads a talented team in execution of brand recognition, content, and digital channel strategy, and collaborates with business development in developing demand generation tactics. She is passionate about corporate storytelling and furthering Ovation's mission of strengthening independent healthcare. Thank you so much, Kendall, for joining us today.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me and let me come on to talk about OvationCares.
Well, speaking of OvationCares, can you tell us more about OvationCares and what inspired you to get involved?
Yeah. Well, you kind of alluded to it in my bio. What initially drew me to Ovation Healthcare was its purpose-driven culture. And I've always found company culture and purpose, and Ovation's mission of strengthening independent healthcare really resonated with me when I first learned about it. One of our core values is also people matter, and I think OvationCares is a real expression of that value. Through OvationCares, we take care of people in the communities we serve through two core initiatives: our employee assistance program for team members facing hardship, and supporting education through scholarship, where we're investing in that next generation of healthcare providers. That's especially critical even now with workforce shortages across the industry. We've started seeing even partnering with hospitals to offer commitment scholarships, where students agree to work at the sponsoring hospital upon graduation. For us, that's not just a way of funding their education, but also strengthening and sustaining care in these communities that we work with. We also extend support to hospitals themselves through extraordinary moments of crisis. Like earlier this year, there was some severe flooding that impacted our partners at Appalachian Regional Healthcare. And then a couple of years ago, there were some tornadoes that destroyed entire neighborhoods in Sullivan County, Indiana. And we were able to come in and help with those fundraising efforts. Thankfully, those are less frequent situations, but when disaster strikes, it's important for us that we stand beside our partners.
Kendall, what are the greatest challenges that OvationCares helps to overcome?
I would say the biggest challenge is that hardship always and often it hits unexpectedly, whether it's an employee facing sudden financial strain, a student that may not be able to afford to pursue their dream of going to nursing school, a hospital struck by a natural disaster like the ones I'd previously mentioned with flooding or tornadoes. In those moments, people need fast, compassionate support. Another challenge is emotional. Asking for help is never easy, and our goal with the employee assistance program is to make that process feel safe and respectful. Early at the beginning of this year, we partnered with the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee to manage our employee assistance application process. And that was really important for us to do because we know how difficult it can be to ask for help, and we wanted to make that process as compassionate and seamless as possible. The Community Foundation specializes in programs like this, and they work with organizations of all sizes, and they have a dedicated team that is there to ensure that our employees that are in crisis are cared for with dignity.
That's awesome. It gives them the opportunity to be able to have the courage to ask for that help. And it sounds like that this organization is there to answer their questions and get them in the process of finding what kind of help Ovation can give. So that's awesome. So how are donations utilized?
We believe in taking a thoughtful approach to our fundraising. Internally, our employees rally around the employee assistance program, while externally we engage with clients, with sponsors, and some of our channel partners to support the scholarship program. We believe that people want to give to something that they feel connected to, and we're very intentional about making sure donations have a clear line of sight to impact.
Can you share a story of the positive impact that Ovation Cares has made that has really stuck with you?
I would say some of the most impactful employee assistance stories that have stayed with me seem to always happen around the holidays. It's such a magical time of year, but it can also be incredibly difficult for families experiencing a hard time. I've been blown away by the camaraderie of our colleagues when they come together. And, I've seen us deliver toys to children, on a short notice right before the holidays, just so that they have that magic, that special moment, or for us to come together and raise money for a single parent who suddenly lost their partner right before the holidays. Those moments kind of remind me of why we focus so much on fundraising during our season of giving, because during this time of year there is always someone in need and always an opportunity for us to come together to help. And if it's okay, I'd like to just quickly plug a couple ways that people can donate and support these causes.
Yeah, please do.
There's a few ways. So anyone can come online, visit us at ovationcares.org/donation, and they can make one-time or recurring donations via credit card there. Employees can also give one-time or set up recurring deductions directly from their paycheck, and they can visit Bravo to the spaces for Ovation Cares to find the direct link to that form to set it up. You can also give your Bravo bucks. Ovation Cares is featured on the Bravo storefront. So when you give someone, every single month you'll get $5. When you give somebody those Bravo bucks and you have your spending bucks and you can go to the storefront, rather than exchanging those $5 for a Starbucks gift card, you could give those $5 directly to Ovation Cares.
That is good to know about the Bravo Bucks. I'm sure there are other employees like myself who would be happy to be able to donate their Bravo Bucks, knowing that it's going to go to Ovation Cares and helping fellow employees. That's awesome. Kendall, how do you factor in the balance of the more urgent needs with the long-term planning and sustainability that a charity needs to run successfully?
I'd say it's really about having a dual focus. On one hand, we need to be ready to act quickly when disaster strikes or when an employee is in crisis. On the other hand, we also need to think about the future and building scholarships, strengthening our partnerships, ensuring a sustainable pool of funds is there so we don't have to choose between urgent and ongoing needs. I think that's why our fundraising approach should be segmented. Employee giving sustains the assistance program, while client, sponsor, partner giving is more directed towards scholarships. It helps us to meet the urgent needs of today without losing sight of building long term impact.
Kendall, thank you so much for sharing this information about Ovation Cares, but I'm curious to know, where do you see Ovation Cares in the next 5 years?
Well, it may take more than 5 years, but my hope is that Ovation Cares is not just known across our organization, but within our industry as a model of how healthcare organizations can live to its values. I'd love to see our scholarships growing, so we're helping, many students pursue healthcare careers. I'd like our employee assistance program to be recognized as one of the most compassionate in our industry and something people can count on without hesitation. And most importantly, I hope people feel connected to the mission. I often encourage them to think of it this way. If you've ever experienced hardship or your community has been struck by disaster, you know how meaningful that support can be when you needed it most. And if you haven't, give thanks for that. Consider giving back so that the next person facing hardship doesn't have to face it alone. It's very much in the spirit of the campaigns, like one that I always speak about and greatly admire is St. Jude's and their slogan of give thanks for the healthy kids in your life. For us, it's about giving thanks for stability and not taking that for granted and paying that forward to those in need.
Kendall, you mentioned about experiencing hardship, and I know for many folks who are listening today, we have experienced some of those hardships, and if we haven't, then we do need to give thanks. And, I think it's a great opportunity that I am thankful for those who have been there during the time of hardship and who have helped me and my family. And I want to be able to pay that forward and be able to help others. And thank you so much for giving us that opportunity through Ovation Cares to help the very people that we work with.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, that brings us to the end of our episode today. Thank you so much, Kendall, for your time, and thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We hope that you have enjoyed this special Voices of Ovation episode. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on LinkedIn at Ovation Healthcare. Please remember to visit our donations page at ovationcares.com/donate to learn more about how we can make a difference together.
Thank you for joining us on the Ovation Healthcare Learning Institute podcast. We're committed to supporting independent hospitals as they navigate challenges and shape a stronger future for the communities they serve. If you found today's conversation valuable, be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and connect with us on LinkedIn at Ovation Healthcare, or visit us at ovationhc.com for more insights and resources. Until next time, keep leading with confidence.